Hello and welcome to Vilnius University. My name is Viktoras Yakovlevas, and here from the studio of Institute of Journalism, we are starting a series of Q&A webinars, questions and answers webinars, dedicated to those who are about to choose studies at Vilnius University. And today we're not doing a typical webinar. We're opening actually a window of what it means to study and live here through real experiences. If you're considering studying here, this is the conversation you want to take part. And joining me in the studio is Asal Shuglu, an international student from Azerbaijan studying international business at Vilnius University.
Hello, everyone. So nice to be here. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Nice to have you here as well. Uršulė Barkauskaitė, who works closely with international students' life and community. Hello.
Thank you for having me.
And Goda Varnelytė, Head of Student Affairs, who helps students navigate everything from arrival to settling in.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello. So this is a live broadcast, as I've mentioned, and you can take part in it. Send us your questions via Slido. The link is in the description of this webinar, and we'll bring them in as we go with our discussion and conversation. Hasal, let me start with your story.
Sure.
You arrived in Vilnius 1 year ago, right? So first day, what surprised you most?
Oh, I heard a lot about Lithuania, genuinely, and the first thing that surprised me is that rain. It rains a lot here. I didn't expect it to rain this much here, but despite it, sun comes after it, and it's so good, amazing. People are amazing, weather is amazing. Due to the fact that there are a lot of trees here, the air is amazing. So I'm so nice to be here. Amazing life, amazing everything.
Why did you choose studies at Vilnius University in the first place?
Since childhood, Baltic countries really attract me. And I was just doing research of all European countries. And I'm gonna be honest, Lithuania astonished me with its beauty. Vilnius, Trakai, Klaipėda, all of the cities are amazing. And soon I wanna do a tour around Lithuania. Coming to Vilnius University itself, first of all, it's one of the oldest universities in Europe. And the history of it is just amazing. So it's really honorable to be a student of Vilnius University.
When did it start to feel like home?
Adaptation process might be a bit hard from people to people, but for me, it took me at least 5 months to feel like, yeah, I've settled in. This is my home. This is my new home. And it really boosts up after you start learning the language. When you start understanding what people talk around you, you're like, yeah, this is my home now.
Was it harder than expected?
Yes, a bit.
Why?
First of all, leaving your family and moving to another end of the planet is already hard itself.
How far is Azerbaijan?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, about 3,500 kilometers, which is
How long is the flight?
It took me, I think, approximately 14 hours with staying in the airport. So yeah, culture is different, language is different, everything is different, but at the same time, this is novelty, this is something new, which is really intriguing, finding out new things, new facts about the country, about the university that you're in. Yeah.
Okay. Uršulė, I think Hazal is one of tens of thousands of students from abroad who study at Vilnius University. What do people usually imagine and get completely wrong about studying at Vilnius University?
That would be a great question. I think more often people are not necessarily that they get something wrong, but they're, I think, maybe surprised in a nice way, in a good way when they come to study here. I think they don't always imagine that this culture is so adaptable, really, that Lithuania, in itself is very adaptable country, that when you come here, the modernism and the history, all of it comes together. And I think people from all around the world, all the students that come here, they find something familiar here. So I couldn't even say one thing that people got totally wrong, because I think at the end of the day, people always got it right here when they came.
Okay. If you could relive your first week, Hazal, or let's say first month, what would you do differently?
First of all, there is the stereotype that Lithuanian people are quite cold. And when I moved here, I also had it in my mind. And I was really scared to ask for help, to try to start the first talk. I would probably stop being afraid of that, because you do the first step, Lithuanian people do 10 steps back to you. So I'd put the stereotypes aside and I try to enjoy the talks with people.
Okay, I'm going to put you in numbers if you don't mind. So if you become a student of Vilnius University, there are 25,000 students at this university and 3,000 plus international students from 100 plus countries. So you are in a great community, I think. You mentioned the language. Was it hard before you start learning Lithuanian?
I've been studying Lithuanian for 6 months. And although people compliment my pronunciation, I'm going to be honest, grammar is really hard. But language itself is so beautiful. It's like, sometimes I just ask my friends to just talk to me in Lithuanian. Even if I don't understand, just talk to me, because the language is amazing. It's so beautiful, but it is hard to learn.
Okay, Uršulė, people would imagine that living in Vilnius, or living anywhere abroad, studying abroad, is somewhat lonely, right? And friends are hard to come by. Is it true?
I think that is the assumption that people come with, but I think here in Vilnius University, especially from the student representation side, for example, we have a mentoring system. I think that is a very strong system that we have for integration. It's one of our main tools, is that you have an older student that is here to help you. So you already have a friend when you come. No matter if they are international or not, they are here to help. So
Lithuanian friend, immediately.
A Lithuanian friend or an older international friend that has maybe already integrated within the university community. That is a mentor.
Okay, do you actually mix with locals, the internationals? Do they mix? It's the question for both of you. Or do they still stay in the bubbles?
You want to answer that first?
I think for me, maybe because I do work closely, I've been working closely with international students for 2 years now. It is sometimes a difficult situation. It really depends also on the faculty, because, you know, we have different amounts of international students where maybe some are in a very internationally dominant faculty, for example, which is very good. They have this international environment. And what is very beautiful about Vilnius University is that it's heading towards internationalization every day, every step at a time.
More and more students come.
Yes, more and more students come. So I think international students, when they come, we're trying to make it so that they have an option to meet people from other faculties. So they're trying to meet other people that are locals and internationals from other faculties. So I think we're heading towards that breaking of the bubble, at least from my perspective.
I completely agree with Uršulė, and for future international students, my advice would be join the student communities. For example, Vilnius University is known for its student representation, VSR, VUSA, and when I just got into university, I joined everything that I could. I'm a Vilnius University student representation member in international students affairs, in organizational affairs and social academic affairs. I'm Vilnius University ambassador and also an Arcus ambassador. Through this, I've met a lot of incredible friends, and despite the fact that there's an assumption that Lithuanian people don't really like mixing in with international people.
Like northerners.
Yeah. Through these organizations, you might become really good friends with Lithuanians, which I did. I have amazing Lithuanian friends who give me advices, who show me things, and who give me their knowledge, because as a local person, obviously you know way more than an international person. So it is really useful to join the organizations and to make Lithuanian friends.
Sounds like really a lot of what you're doing here at Vilnius University besides studying. Guada, do you agree that this is the fastest way of getting to know new people when internationals arrive? What stories do you know?
Yeah, of course I agree, because when students, applicants reach out to us, we always encourage like join the students representation or other activities that you can find in Vilnius University, because this is a great way to get to know people who are the same age, have the same interests. So yeah, just go on. Studies are much more than just going to lectures, attending seminars. So yeah, we really encourage all these activities.
Was there something that you joined and you actually got some really nice experiences which you didn't expect?
For sure. I'd say in the first place, Vilnius University Student Representation, International Student Affairs. At first, when you join, you're really scared. You're like, oh my God, I have so much responsibilities. I have so much to change. I have so much to add. But when you get into the community and you see that there are a lot of people with the same goal, to make our university better, to promote our university on global level, you understand that, oh yeah, this is the place that I belong to. And as Goda mentioned, coming to university is not only just studying, going to lectures and then going home. No, you have to make this place your new home. And for that, you have to socialize.
And you have to make an effort, you say?
Yes, definitely. Because I don't think in life, nothing you can get without any effort. So you have to work for it. And in this road, Vilnius University Student Representation is amazing friend, amazing support to make new friends, to socialize.
Okay, Uršulė, if someone says that there's nothing to do and stays in their room, let's say, are they right?
I'm afraid not. I think there's so many things because, as mentioned, that there is Vilnius University Student Representation. What we often forget that it is composed of a lot of student initiatives. So we do represent students on these different levels. But what we also do, besides organizing events and so on, we have a lot of diverse initiatives, whether it's student scientific societies, whether it's various maybe thematic clubs or projects, where students can organize conferences, they can organize career days, for example, which are happening right now. There's a lot of student projects, clubs, and initiatives that definitely fit the interest of students, whatever the interest might be of the student, really. And we always encourage new initiatives to be created. So that's where international students really do come in, because they're the driving force of new initiative creation.
Okay, so thank you for this great introduction into student life and making new friends. And just a quick reminder that we have a Slido, questions open, and you can add some more. And there are already some questions which I like to bring in. And one viewer says that I'm an international student from Thailand. I would like to ask about student accommodation. And I'm also wondering whether master's degree students are allowed to work part-time during their studies. So accommodation, I would like to hear from you, Hazal.
Accommodation-wise, there are dormitories of Vilnius University. I live in one of them, and they're located on different parts of Vilnius. So you usually live in a double room or in a triple room. And usually those dormitories are located close to the faculties. So based on your faculty, you might be located into the dormitories. And I'm going to be honest, when I arrived here, I had a question in my head, whether I should rent an apartment or live in a dormitory. And through dormitories, you also make amazing connections. You make amazing memories. You live that student life. With all your neighbors, you cook together, you watch something in the evening after lectures, and this is just an amazing experience. So I would definitely recommend getting a accommodation in dormitory.
Okay. And the second part of the question I would like to address to either Uršulė or Goda. I'm also wondering whether master's degree students are allowed to work part-time during their studies.
Well, with regards to work, there are working opportunities for international students, no matter if you're a bachelor or a master's student. So it depends what kind of work you would be looking for, but definitely you are able to work.
I think the question is more about, is it allowed by law
It is.
Can you work
It
by
is.
visa means?
Yeah, there is a specific number of hours, how many you can work, but I don't know the specifics. But yeah, students can work part-time.
Part-time, that's for sure.
And the migration issues is going to be the third part of our webinar today, so we're going to address that later too. All right, we have some more questions too. I'm studying medicine in my second year in Hungary. Is it easy to transfer to Vilnius University after a second year? Do you know an answer to that?
Yes, so there are specific requirements for transferring from other universities. So I would suggest for the viewer to reach out to the Faculty of Medicine, because they need to meet the requirements and the documents, and then they evaluate and give the answer if they have the possibility or not.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's move actually to our second topic, what it actually means to live in Lithuania. You mentioned, Hazal, about cultural adjustments, that learning new language is important. And is it easy to navigate around Lithuania? Is it like transportation available? How do you feel about that?
I think despite the fact that personally, when I moved to Lithuania, I was thinking that there is no metro here. How am I supposed to move around the city?
Okay.
But there are bus stops literally everywhere. Even if it's a completely empty place, no one lives there, you might find a bus stop there, which is amazing. And you can even, there's multiple apps through, you can see in how many minutes the bus is gonna come. You can buy the tickets there and you can navigate through city really easily. So I think navigation-wise, city is really amazing. It's really easy to do that.
Okay. And one more question from Slido. Does university provide support on accommodation? You mentioned the dormitory, but what about support? Is it easy to get?
Yeah, so we have the accommodation office that is responsible for giving out the places, and applicants have to, when they apply through apply.vu.lt, they need to mark a task that they are interested in receiving accommodation. But to be honest, places in dormitories are limited, so not all students receive those dorm rooms. But yes, they have the chance to apply for it, so then the accommodation office provides all the information. In case the dormitory is not provided, then we always provide information about private accommodation, what they should check, what apps, what websites to find the accommodation in Vilnius, Kaunas or Šiauliai they will study.
I want to add into that because me, myself, I faced a problem. So basically, I applied to dormitory back in July, if I'm not mistaken, and I got rejected because the places are really limited. So you have to hurry up with that. And to my luck, thankfully, some of the students, they just rented a private apartment. They declined the offer of dormitory, and thankfully for that, just by pure luck, I got accommodated in dormitory. So my suggestion would be, please hurry up if you want to get a space in dormitories.
Okay. Urszula and Guada, for both of you, where do students actually struggle most when they arrive? We talked about settling in and dormitories and renting apartments. Are there any other issues as well?
I can begin maybe. I think from an academic point of view, we also should establish this because Vilnius University has a lot of master's programs.
True.
So naturally, if you come having finished your higher education, bachelor's from another country, you might have a different understanding of academia. So we need to understand that even though we, for example, also belong to the European higher education area, there are certain aspects that differ because it's a different university. So, we have academic ethics guidelines, we have specific research guidelines. So that sometimes becomes a barrier, at least from what I've experienced. And I think that's one of the more common ones. So learning maybe difficulties.
Okay. Also, what about the costs? Hazal and all of you can answer what is the cost of accommodation, the dormitory, and roughly the life in Vilnius?
So costs of accommodation changes from where is it located and how many people live per room. So it might change from approximately 90 euros to 150, 130. And you can check but it's best to check obviously the prices on website of Vilnius University because the prices might change. And so apart from it, it all depends individually on the person itself, because some people, they like to party a lot, they like to spend a lot, and some people, they really just, just for food and that's it. So might raise up to minimum, I'd say 200, 250 euros a month with the accommodation and I know some people who spend up to 500, 600 euros. So it's all dependent on the person itself.
Okay, and I would like to mention as well that there are 15 faculties at Vilnius University, and they are located not only in Vilnius, which is a beautiful city and lively, but also in Kaunas and Šiauliai, and there are some other cities as well, but they are easily reachable via train or any other means of transportation. Okay, so when do students usually realize they need help from student organizations, Gordon?
Yeah, like for the organizations, maybe Uršulė would be the best person to answer, but I can comment when they need the help from the administration, probably more. So questions start when they just apply, before applying to the Vilnius University, then during all the procedure, because a lot of questions occur regarding the motivational interviews and so on. But the second part of the really important questions begin when studies are coming closer. So we have the start of the studies is September 1st for all students, for international and for local students as well. So a lot of anxiety, I believe, that comes to those students because you're leaving your home country, so a lot of things are going to change. People start to ask how to come from the airport to the dorm or to the faculty. When does the integration start? Where can I meet my coordinators from the faculty and so on. The questions start really early, but as well we start to send out letters regarding the information on what would be useful to know for the students, like coming to Lithuania. Like some students that are from Asia or Africa usually don't know that we have temperatures that in the summer, the seasons change in Lithuania. Like in the summer it can be almost 30 degrees and in winter it can be minus 20. So
we had a cold winter.
Yeah. So you need to be ready for that, and as it was mentioned previously, we have a lot of rain, so like different seasons. So students need to be ready for that.
Okay, Lithuania is a part of EU and NATO, which makes it a safe place to be internationally. But talking about cities, is it safe to live here? I wonder if you can stay with your friends up until late and walk home.
Well, obviously, whenever you're living alone, you have some precautions, but safety-wise, I'd say Vilnius is extremely safe. And even if it's late at night, 10, 11, and maybe even later, you can safely be assured that you'll get home safely. And even on weekends, whenever people go out, hang out with their friends, there are night buses, which me personally, we don't have it back at my home country. And it was really surprising and really reassuring that, this city is safe, and government and people are making sure that people are really safe here.
Okay. I think I have maybe you know her. Her name is Emanuela, and she's writing from Azerbaijan. And she's currently applying for masters at Vilnius University. Prestigious, as she calls it. I will be completing my bachelor's degree, Emanuela writes, this year, but I currently do not have my diploma. is it possible to continue my application? And we have similar questions regarding this practicality, that some people don't have their diplomas or their scores yet, but the deadline is somewhat close. Can they still do it?
Yes, so it's usually based on the country where they are from. So we need to check the admission requirements specifically for that country, but in some cases, yes, you can apply if you're in the last year of your studies with your current grades. But I would always suggest to write an email and check, and then we consult with the admissions office, and then they give a direct answer, yes or no, just to be clear and don't waste your money. So
I have some deadlines for admissions. I think you want to hear it. It's 1st of May for applicants from non-EU EFTA countries. EFTA is European Free Trade Association. And July 1st, which is the midsummer, for applicants who are citizens of EU and European Free Trade Organization, and countries for non-EU applicants with a 90-day visa-free period that has not been exceeded. So yeah, there are some important deadlines to meet, but they're not so close as you might think, because on Slido we get questions about that they're going to get their scores sometime in probably April or May, and it's going to be all right. Okay, talking about moving on to living in Lithuania. We talked about safety as well, and we talked about transportation. Do students really have things to do after the studies? Do you enjoy the nightlife? Do you enjoy museums or whatever?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge person for nightlife.
Okay.
And museums-wise, Vilnius is perfect city for that, because there are many museums here and many historical landscapes that it's a must to visit. Gediminas Tower, the cathedral, all amazing places. And regarding extracurricular activities, let's call it that way, by Vilnius University student representations, there are made a lot of events for Christmas, for Halloween, for integration of international students. Sometimes two faculties collab and make an integration event, which we had recently. And so there are a lot of events that you can attend. Also, there are Erasmus events that you can attend that are also made in Vilnius. So there is a lot of things to do apart from studying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there any entrance exam for English taught bachelor program in computer science, or any other English exams that has to be passed before students can join Vilnius University?
Yeah, so we have English language proficiency requirements. So yes, applicants have to provide specific certificates they need to pass on a certain level. Usually we require at least B2 level of proficiency, but we have a list of specific tests that are accepted. Probably most popular is IELTS, also Duolingo test, or any other that is listed in our page. Also, if your previous studies were in English, then you are exempt from providing that certificate, and you can just go further with the procedure.
Is there a scholarship, and what are the requirements?
Yeah, we have scholarships that may cover the tuition fee in full or partly, but it also depends if you are applying for bachelor's or for master's. Also, what faculty are you applying to? And yeah, usually the criteria for receiving the scholarship or the waiver is good academic records and good motivation. So it's important to be ready and just as prepared as you can.
Okay, I want to get back to mentor program that you mentioned, Tutrula. I understand that Vilnius University has a mentor first-year student. Mm-hmm. Will they be in contact with us, or do we have to contact and mentor ourselves? This is the question.
Yes, this is a very good question, really, because for our mentor program, actually right now, for example, each faculty, since it has its own student representation, is making the selection process for these mentors, for these people that will be helping the international students that are coming in. And what usually happens is that when we're already certain that this student is coming here to study, we, in accordance and in collaboration with the Student Careers and Affairs Center, we collaborate and they sent out a letter with a link to our group. For example, this is the first connection that we make. So in this group, usually WhatsApp, we have all of the mentors from all of the faculties, and they can automatically join. And that's how we start our communication. And then mentors from this chat individually start contacting the students to see what are the needs, if there's any sort of things that they could help with.
There are a couple questions regarding one topic. And this is the time when the bachelor degree is finished. Most of the masters, one person writes, most of the master's program have a requirement for bachelor degree to be finished in the last 5 years, but in my case, it's 2020, so it's already 6-year gap. Can I still apply and provide details on my request?
Yes, so this is the requirement for non-EU applicants. Unfortunately, if your previous studies have been finished longer than 5 years ago, then you are not able to apply. So.
Okay, I would love to apply, for this year. However, I don't have the full financial means to travel this year. Is it okay to apply now and use the program to get enrolled next year?
No, we don't do deferrals. If you apply now, you apply for studies that start this September. So we don't suggest that. It's best to apply next year when you're fully ready and can start your studies that autumn semester.
Another question is for master's programs. Is it possible to pay the tuition fees in installments, in parts?
First year students are required to pay the full tuition fee because this is the regulations that we have for during this admission. But later they can apply, they can pay in installments from the second year.
Okay. How long does it actually take for the admission to reply with acceptance or with rejection for application? Is it actually 1 month as stated on website, or could it be faster or longer?
Yeah, it's usually about 1 month, but it can be faster, it can take longer because it's based on the documents provided. If the admissions office needs to check the qualification more closely and other aspects as well. Also, some faculties arrange motivational interviews or other means of evaluation for the applicants. But yeah, we usually say that it's around 30 days, but it can be faster or longer, but it depends on an individual case.
Okay. There's one individual case on Slido as well. My son is 17 years old. Is he eligible for bachelor's program? Young genius, he is.
Yeah, there are applicants that apply when they're 17. Everything is okay because, I believe that it's common in Ukraine, for example, to finish your studies earlier. So yeah.
Me myself, I applied when I was 17. I recently turned 18. So
This is your story as well, right?
yeah. So this is definitely you're eligible, but the thing is, it depends on the country that you're living in. Because you might need some documents to even go out from the country without your parent. So in my case, for Azerbaijani students, we needed a list of documents from our parents, parental consent we call it, that, yeah, I allow my kid to study in another country, to live there, and etc., etc. But yeah, you're definitely eligible if you're 17.
Okay. What happens when the student is struggling, academically or personally? Academically first, I would like to hear from you, Guada.
Yes, so I believe that the first call should be the lecturer that is responsible for that lecture. But if your struggles are more than just one subject, you can always contact the academic counselors in your faculty or reach out to us. We provide help regarding these questions. We also have career consulting that is also in our office. So we have career consultants that can help you to find out why you struggle. Maybe there are some deeper issues regarding that matter. So yeah, we have seminars that can help you to learn, like make a plan for your learning, how to plan your time and so on. Also, we have psychological support, because if you struggle, it can be in the academic field, but it usually is related to how you're feeling and so on. So yeah, we have a lot of means. Also, the library provides various courses that can help for you to learn and get that academic help.
How about personally, Ufula?
How personally we can help students?
Yeah. If they have, like, sometimes it can
Yes,
be hard.
yes, of
Studies are
course.
hard. And
I think the thing that I've noticed really is that it's about the Lithuanian students as well, the local students, how they maybe notice their environment and their students. I am very happy in general to be part of a community that is growing with this empathy and this notice of the environment that we're in. So I have gotten also responses from local students where they are unsure maybe how to help their course mate who is struggling, who is international, for example. So I think this is again where in VUSA, where the student representation comes in, because we collect the opinion of students, international students as well, specifically, quite often, and they always have this chain of communication with us, basically. So we always make sure that we are open to whatever struggles that might happen.
okay, so being an international student means that most of the students have to get visa, and we have a lot of questions regarding this. But I want to start with you, Guada. What is the moment that students panic the most when dealing with visas?
Yes, so maybe this issue is more common for the students that are not from the European Union, because the process is a bit longer and harder.
You have a story, I bet.
Yeah.
Okay, we get back to that.
Yes, so usually applicants, I will talk a bit more about the non-EU applicants, they can start the process for migration after they paid the tuition fee and receive their final acceptance letter. So I believe that it's really important to have all the documents in order, because students delay this process, and then it can be just too late to get temporary residence permit to arrive and start your studies on time. So I believe that this is the first point where students get anxious. But if you prepare everything on time...
What is time? Half a year? A year?
It depends on when you're applying, because now all the migration matters are in order. It usually students usually start to process the migration questions after New Year. I don't know the specific dates, there's a timeline, but after they get the final acceptance letter, our International Relations Office provides all the information, the instruction, what you need to do, what documents
So this is assistance from university, right? Because we have a question about that as well. So what are the requirements for applying the student visa? And do I get guidance in this process?
Yes, so usually applicants have to receive the temporary residence permit. The university issues the mediation letter and the instruction, because the requests are made through the migration department. So this is the main help from the university, the instruction, the mediation letter, and then all we can do is just move you to forward to the process. But yeah, if you have any questions at any point, you can contact the International Relations Office, and they
At Vilnius University.
Yeah, at Vilnius University, and they give the help that they can. If it's out of our reach, then the migration department also provides consultations for international applicants.
I'll adapt to it. International Relations Office usually reply really fast. And I had some struggles when I was collecting my documents, and they were really in help. And you just email them, and they get back to you with clear instructions. And kudos to them; they are really amazing.
And I bet there is like every story is just different. You know, every situation might be different regarding visas, and so they should do that.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think what I would also really like to stress, what Guado also mentioned, the responsibility that one must take in terms of deadlines, that if students do have questions, that they feel free to ask, to email, but that they don't delay this process, because I think that's where the stress really comes from, this delaying of the process. So
If they do it last minute,
yes, because
it may not work.
help is here. Vilnius University is here to help, but it also needs to come from the student side naturally. So
Okay. We have another question. Do we need to pay full tuition before we get the admission letter for the visa process?
Yes, so the admission procedure is that your documents are evaluated, you pass the motivational interview or any other way that you're evaluated. And if you get accepted, you receive the pre-acceptance letter. If you accept the conditions, you pay the tuition fee in full for the first year. And after paying the tuition fee, when we receive it, the admission office sends the final acceptance letter, and along with the international relations office, they send all the information regarding the migration.
I want to move to your story. Hazal, what is your story regarding visa or residence permit?
So
Tell us.
basically, I applied to university in April, which is a bit late, but I did a small mistake there. I waited until basically talking on side of Azerbaijan, we have a governmental exam which you have to pass to get your high school diploma. This exam usually happens in March, and I did a small mistake by delaying the application process. I thought that, okay, I'll give out the state exam and after that I'll apply, which was a mistake because I applied by the mid-April, end of April, and then this time is usually when most of the students from non-EU apply, and migration office was obviously so full because there are a lot of documents incoming, which was really stressful. And due to it, my TRP got a bit delayed, and I received my TRP only in beginning of September. I got a bit late to my studies, but really big thanks to International Relations Office of Vilnius University and to administration. I was a bit late for like 2 weeks, but I still was allowed to study.
So I think your advice would be the same.
Start as early as possible. As early as possible. Don't delay to last minute. And always never hesitate to ask questions, because people that are working at migration office and at administrations, they are there for you to help. So never hesitate to ask questions.
Okay, this is good. And the last one, I think, regarding visas is how many times can I go abroad during my studies, like exchange studies or other support programs, such as conferences, to boost my academic qualifications? Is there a limit on that?
Yeah, I believe that for bachelor students, it is up to 12 months. For integrated studies, it's a bit longer, 24 months. I don't know.
something like this, yes. But with regards to conferences or maybe shorter academic trips, I don't think there's even a limit to that, really. Because so as to locals, so as to international students, everyone is very encouraged to gain this international experience also outside of Vilnius University.
And you can travel freely, the internationals, I mean, across the that visa.
Unless it doesn't interrupt your studies, you don't skip your lectures, you don't skip your seminars. Yeah, you can travel with your TRP card. Obviously, you have to check the requirements, but still, if you have the TRP card, temporary residence permit card, for most of the countries you can freely travel.
Yeah, Lithuania is actually a gateway to Scandinavia, to Poland, to Western Europe. So it's easy to travel from here, from Vilnius or any other city, actually. there are many questions on Slido. We cannot answer them all. Some of them are very specific, so just be patient, wait for the answer there. The Vilnius University team, we're going to do that pretty soon. And our time is about up. I want to wrap up actually our discussion and our conversation. If you could like say Lithuania or Vilnius in 3 words, Hazal, what would they be?
Oh, that is a good question. Firstly, I'd say beauty, because city is really beautiful. Doesn't matter if it's day or night, especially night life here is amazing. At night it really looks good. Secondly, I'd say love.
Love.
Because everywhere you look, there's love. The love that people have for their country, patriotism. Love that people have for, students have for their university. Like me, I love my university. If I was reborn and if I had a chance, I'd apply for my university again. And third word that I'd say is fun. It's a fun city, pretty fun city.
Is student life intense or balanced, Urszula?
I think it's balanced. I think the university provides enough help and enough resources as well as initiatives for the students really aim to have a balanced life here. Yeah.
Okay. And Guada, we talked with you about how sometimes hard can it be to be a student and regarding all these visas and processes and accommodation and all other things. Is there anything that is better than most people expect?
Yeah, I believe that one point is that Lithuanians are really nice people.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually people probably don't expect that, but we're always ready to help. So I believe that it's a big plus, not only for the community of the university, but for the whole Lithuania.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your advices. Here, I would like to remind some deadlines that May the 1st is for applicants from non-EU or EFTA, which is free trade organization, European Free Trade Organization. And July 1st is for applicants who are citizens of the EU or have the visas. And this is it for life and studies as a student in Vilnius University. There are going to be 2 more webinars considering other topics as well. The second going to be on April 10th and the third's going to be on April 15th. So you're going to find the link in the description and join us there, as well as with the questions, or just take part in the conversation and enjoy the guests and the panel here. I would like to thank Hazal Tashoglu, an international student from Azerbaijan, Urszula Barkauskaitė from student community, and Guada Varnelytė, head of student affairs.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
See you all in Vilnius University.
Oh, that's a great advice. Thank you for that, and see you. Bye-bye.